All right. So, if you can't tell, I'm batch recording these. These will all come out on different times and different days. When did I do double me? Oh, there we go. So I finally, after all this time, oh no, that's not where I want to be. 11 labs. I finally got took the time to figure out how to get my code base or my knowledge base. Wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it was going to be. Not gonna lie. Um, so it's not as near. It wasn't nearly as hard. So what I'm going to do is I am going to create my Revita double right now. Now, when it comes to the interface, I won't do it this way. It'll actually be done like in this account. But for kicks and giggles right now, I'm just going to do it like this way because it's easier to try and figure this out. Okay, so I'm really excited. So it's going to be my voice, which I spent 3 hours professionally training. And first message is going to be like, okay, so I'll probably have different ones, right? So I'll probably have one that's like, um, I'm not even sure it can take this whole knowledge base I'm about to add. See, I knew I could just create text. That must be new because you couldn't do that before. That like has to be new. Revita org. Can you take a file that big? 20 megabits, dude. That's a lot of words. Oh, it's just 21. Oh my gosh, it can take 20 megabits. That's insane. I have no clue how many pages this document is. In fact, let's see. Enable RAG to use this document. Yeah, I know what that is. I now know what RAG is. It's essentially like the chunking and embedding that you've probably seen me look up on different websites. Um, but essentially, it allows different types of foundational models to take large amounts of text and break them into little pieces and then assign like ones and zeros and different numbers to all the little pieces and then puts them in a database. They call it like a vector database, and then what happens is when you ask it a question, it goes through the database and kind of pieces together the answers based on those numerical values. So it might be each letter is 0.01 all the way to 0.025, I guess, for each letter of the alphabet. But as they're strung together, they will add and subtract. This is how I understand it. They will add and subtract to create words, and those will add and subtract to create paragraphs. And so when you're looking for different things, I think it's called a semantic search is I believe what it's called. And when you do a search inquiry or query like we're about to do, um, it essentially creates a formula for going in and finding those 0.025 all the way to 0.01 and piecing together the thing. So what I would equate that to is this is gonna be a weird example. Like Charlie and Chocolate Factory, where they're explaining. I think it's Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Is it Charlie and Chocolate Factory? I think it is. Where they're explaining like in order for you to be teleported from one place to the other, you have to like go down to your atoms, and then it rebuilds your atoms back up in the form of who you were, but you might not be the same person. That really doesn't sound like the plot of Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Anyways, it's happened in film before, old film. And so that is what it is essentially doing. It's breaking down your document into small atoms, and then it's going to rebuild your document in different ways depending on what the user is asking. So that said, we have that. The system prompt is going to be you are a CEO of a company. You are having meetings and conversations about your company of a healthcare tech startup named uh, named Vita. You're having meetings and conversations about Revita and what its potential impact could be. You might. So this one I'll do for investors, and then I could probably create another one that's an agent or double that's for outbound partnership calls and one for inbound partnership calls. So then in that case, the first messages and the system prompts might be all different. However, the knowledge base will be the exact same because you want to have the same knowledge base so you can have consistent answers. But like, hello, this is Steven. How can I help you? That's someone who's receiving a call. If I was going to make outbound calls to investors, then it would be like, hey, it's Steven. Is this still a good time to chat? So you see how it could be different. You got to think through those things, and so that's how some of the things will be in Double Me, which is why it'll be shocking if the majority of our users only have one double. Like there's going to be a paid plan. There's not going to be a free plan. There's going to be a paid plan. It's going to be small. But like most people will probably want more than one double because you, as you are busy, you exchange context. So like when we pitch to journalists to have a double, that's probably going to be people who have just one double. But like CEOs, investors, startup founders, things like that, like they need a double for taking on partnership or spam calls, which I'm creating a double for myself for all of my different projects. They're going to need to take journalist calls, investor calls, potential new hire calls, like all these different like conversations will require different first messages, different prompts, and things like that. So you're a CEO of a health tech startup named. You are having meetings and conversations about reviewing whether we are within the U.S. healthcare system. If you are asked a question that is not covered in the knowledge base, feel free. Oh, let's see. Please say, I don't know. Let me look that up and get back to you. Okay, so this is a light prompt. That's why in another video you saw that I actually went with ChatGPT to figure out like a very, very detailed prompt because you want it to be pretty all encompassing. But for right now, not really a problem. We'll keep it at 2.0. Sonnet's pretty good. Custom LLM. Yeah, we're going to let them pass that on. Okay. Okay. All right, save that. Let's do some of these other things. Oh, what's Turbo and Flash? Yeah, I am definitely gonna do not that because I mean, given the context, like I really don't want it to be. Um, Okay. Okay. Don't have to worry about that. Anything else that I think I need? Uh, no. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. Wow. Nice vector. What does this mean? I don't know what this means. Fine tune. We'll have to look this up later. I've never seen this part. Uh, this is weird. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right, let's test it. Let's hope you can hear. This is going to be interesting. I just want to learn more about Revita and what you all are trying to build. Yeah, what's your marketing strategy? And also, how are you overlaying that with your hiring strategy? Because if I understand correctly, you have recently funding that they have any investors. Yeah, so what else fundraising? Like, tell me about that. It's still not quite there, and I think that's because I know how I talk myself. Like, it's something that my partner and I have been discussing. Is like, okay, if no one's ever talked to you before, how close is that to how you talk? And I'd say it's pretty close. However, it's obvious that like that's not a real person. But at what part up around the uncanny valley will that? I mean, I've told you before. Like, a lot of this has to deal with what we're trying to do with voice. Is because the uncanny valley is easier to kind of cross over without a video representation and without text, because people will forgive a lot of things over an auditory experience. When it's text and it's AI, you know it's text and it's AI. Also, when it's on video and it's AI, you definitely know it's video and AI. Even when they have it really good, there's some like my partner was on like a training webinar, and she was like, "Is that the way that person's eyes moving? That's AI." And she called me over, and of course, like I was like, "Yeah, that's AI." So like you haven't really fixed it yet, but voice is probably one of the best places to try and figure that out, because people are in such a hurry that they're not really trying to listen for if this person is real or not. Also, because no one's really done it very well. And so, with all of these like voice AI projects that I'm building out, it has a lot to do with those things. But also, like, no one's really doing it well, especially over like voice calls and conferences. Like, no one, like, even if you've encountered it in some type of like scenario where you are, you're going through a phone tree or a directory at a hospital or a large company, like, that it's a phone tree or a directory at a large company. If you are in customer service, like, it's obvious that it's customer service. This is a completely different context. So what I'm hoping for, and has already happened, is that people would lose that suspension of disbelief is right there because you're like, okay, I feel like that this is kind of off, but why would it be? You know? So that's what I'm kind of wondering. Dude, like that's pretty good. So I'm excited with that. Like I said, I'm gonna have people having meetings with it tomorrow because we need to send out an investment newsletter for April 1st. I've had a couple of inbound investors who are interested in just learning more, and I'm like, I don't really want, like, I'm out of fundraising mode. I don't really want to spend time on this, but here's the thing: like, you can schedule a meeting with my double, and we can go from there if you're still interested. Ask all the questions. I mean, because like I said, I have 125,000 words like written on this thing in my coda. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I think it's probably closer to 150 at this point. And so like it doesn't make sense for me to like sit on a call where they're gonna ask me the same questions that are kind of prescriptive, like that they ask everybody. It's like, why would I sit on this call? Like you want to know this information and you don't have my technology. You might one day, you might want to sign up for Double Me so then your double can call my double and they can have a conversation. But like right now, like what I'm doing doesn't quite exist in the same way. And so, which is why it's kind of been fun to build because I know that it doesn't quite exist in the same way. Um, but I wanted like people to have a novel experience so that if they did think that it was cool, they could sign up for their own double. Because at the end of the day, I've started to realize like one of the best like use cases or go to market strategies for doubles are going to be journalists and investors, mainly for a few reasons. One, those are two people that get a lot of unsolicited inbound. Two, when they don't respond to the unsolicited inbound, they, like the people who sent it to them, even though it was unsolicited, feel a type of way. They feel ignored. They have an emotional tension of not getting a response back. Three, if they ignore something that is great, they can't like there's alpha in stories for journalists and there's alpha in the cold emails of an investor. You hear about some of these investors that get on cap tables because they answered a cold email, but there's a lot of triage thanks to point number one. There's a lot of unsolicited emails that come in. And then four, finally, one thing that's unique about those two specific people is like the context that you get from an email in order to get a better understanding of what you are dealing with, you need to have a meeting. Like most investors go, I think Doxson said most investors go through a pitch deck in under 2 minutes and 55 seconds. You cannot glean enough information. That's why they use warm referrals. But one way to actually get past that is to set up a double that can have a 10 to 15 minute screener call with anyone who sends you a cold email. And then you can go through the summaries and say, okay, like out of 10 minutes, like this is something that someone said that is according to all the questions that I would normally ask someone, but I don't want to take the time. So that's kind of why I think those two parties are probably going to be the best fits for Double Me at the very beginning. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. I think this is going to be really cool to test out, and hopefully we can make a couple of dollars from it. With that said, it's 12:30 in the morning. Deuces.